Alright, the camera's yours.
Alright, thank you very much. So, you guys may have remembered my run from Anime North 2019, and more notably, RPG Limit Break 2019, where I ran this game, Star Ocean The Last Hope International, the fourth game in the Star Ocean franchise series. This game was released 10 years ago at this point, in 2019, originally for the Xbox. The game itself has gotten a re-release in HD on the PS4 and Steam versions. I will be running the PS4 version of this game, and I've been running this game since early 2016 with the help of a few writers of this game, Renny MT and Let's Get Pitted. They were the principal runners behind Star Ocean 4, and this current iteration of the run is heavily inspired by them, with a few more changes that have debuted in Limit Break 2019. And without further ado, I will be ready to begin and run in Galaxy level in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, speedrun. Alright, so this is probably my favorite part of the run because it's 3 minutes of cutscenes. You can do whatever you want, take a break, as long as you're back within those 3 minutes, you're good to go. But yeah. in the meantime, I'll go through what this run has to offer for an RPG speedrun. This is one of the few RPGs that is pretty short in length, around 2 hours 30 minutes estimate. This run is pretty high action because this one, Star Ocean series, is a very known RPG series known for its high intensity combats. It's a lot of action, and it's one of the two main series of action RPGs that debuted in the SNES era. The first original one is Tales of series, and the second Splinter branch series is Star Ocean, which was made from developers of the Tales series. Well, Tales series has gone off to become one of the more popular action RPG series, while Star Ocean did take a little bit of a backseat. But the Star Ocean series has a pretty good cult following. It's got the current series has a mobile game called Anamnesis, and it also released the fifth game around 2 years ago at this point, called Integrity and Faithlessness. So the series itself is still going strong, and it has the mobile game has plenty of crossover events. I think the most recent one is Persona 5, where the main character, Joker, was holding a Star Ocean bunny, and that's pretty cute. So, yeah. Well, let's focus on this game now. Star Ocean 4. In the timeline, this game takes place at the very beginning. So, 20 years before the events of Star Ocean 1. Well, Star Ocean 1 already had a bit of time travel, so this game takes place 20 years before that. Before all the events in the past. So you'll be seeing quite a bit of Star Ocean references throughout in the series, throughout this game, because this game loves its cameos and its throwbacks. So take a nice sit back and enjoy the action while you hear these two blabber around. So that's character development for you. So Edge and Raimi are two main protagonists. They're childhood friends, and we'll be using them quite a lot throughout the run. Raimi is more of a support role. She's one of the best characters in the game casually, but in this speedrun, she's going to be taking a bit more of a support role. She's not going to be the primary damage dealer for the majority of fights, but she will be doing quite a bit of damage by herself, but only because she's being controlled by AI. Otherwise, Edge is going to be our main damage dealer for the first half of the game. Then he falls off, and, well, we're not going to use him. So let's begin. And we're going to be thrown into the battle simulator, just like Star Ocean 3. Well, thankfully the battle simulator itself is optional, so we're just going to skip right past that. Excellent. So we're going to be doing a lot of cutscene skips throughout this run. Well, to give you an idea how long this run would be if we couldn't skip the cutscenes, well, the game itself is 2.5 hours, but the cutscenes themselves take around 8 or 9 hours, so it would be like an 11-hour-ish run without cutscene skips, so thankfully we can skip cutscenes. So yeah, we were preparing for a mission, and our new mission is on a new planet, which is full of insects, and we're gonna get attacked by insects. First, let's talk to our crew, get a few items, the sniper's bangle. We're not gonna actually equip it, we're gonna sell it for money. And then talk to Remy, and we're gonna be thrown into our very first battle. We're gonna be doing a few very signature things about this game. We got not one spiders, but 2 spiders. Turn on manual. We're gonna charge and do a dodge and evade mechanic called blindsiding. This dodge and evade mechanic has the enemy sustain a blue exclamation mark and question mark symbol above their heads, which enables them to be susceptible to critical hits. So you deal a lot more damage this way. And we also noticed that I got a bonus board gem from defeating them. You have to land a critical hit on the killing blow as your controllable characters get an experience gem, which is the blue gem that you just saw right there. Unfortunately, I only got 1 of them, but I can live with just 1. So each gem on the board has 14, or the board itself has 14 slots for gems. There's 4 kinds of gems throughout for the game. One of them is you have to defeat an enemy using only special moves. That gives you a purple gem, which restores 1% HP and SP after, or is it MP, whatever it is, after battle. We got the yellow gem, which defeats 2 enemies at once with the same move. And we got a green gem, which is yielded after you get an ambush, which is when you have 2 or more overworld enemies going into an encounter. So, like, the way the game treats more than one kind of enemy near you when you enter battle is you're going to fight them in waves. And each wave yields, each wave after the first yields a green gem. So you'll get a green gem if you fight these 2 blue guys if they're close to you. And there's 3 of those guys, you get 2 green gems, and so on. So we're going to be grabbing quite a few chests throughout this run. In the early game, we're very concerned about both our levels and our SP, our party SP, and our money. I grabbed very specific items in these key locations because they're very, very convenient, or they're very, very important, and I have to go out of my way to get them. Which is not the case with these items, but the one coming up here is a very, very important item. So you'll notice that when I open chests, I grab EXP and Party SP. This EXP goes towards all characters, and with Edge and Remy, I want them to get level 2, which is what they just got. And I also want them. I also want the Party SP, which is a cumulative pool that every character can use. Characters also have their own individual SP as well. We're going to be using both to level up their skills. So we're going to be thrust into the first boss battle of the game, where we're going to get our 3rd playable character. His name is FaZe. His green hair, he's not a humanoid, he's an alien. This guy is named Armrose. Armrose has a weak point, but currently it is shielded by debris. So our main goal is to deal enough damage to the shield so he'll reveal his weak point. You'll see me switch my playable character is because I don't want to sustain a critical hit. If I sustain a critical hit, my bonus board gem, my bonus board will break. And bonus board can break easily if enemy can deal a critical hit to you. That happens if the enemy's in rush mode. Rush mode enables enemies and allies to deal critical damage. possibly. And they pretty much are hit-stun invulnerable unless they have the blindside status effect, which you see here. Enemies are also move faster, but they're limited by the amount of gauge they have, which you see at the enemies, right next to the enemy's life bar. We have our own rush gauge as well, but I'm not activating just yet for Edge. I only activate it when the time is right. You should break his shield within a few more waves. You also notice that I need to blindside when the enemy is at a short range. Alright. The shell should break very shortly. Alright, his shell's broken. Armorels does gain access to a few more moves. However, he is weaker because he has the weak point exposed. Ooh. A few more rounds of attacks. And he should die shortly. One more. There we go. That's the first boss down. Very good fight, actually. Edge did take a little bit of damage, but that's okay, he's alive. That's what counts in the end. So yeah, a lot of level ups from the extra bonus board gem that we got from Armorels, which is always nice. So experience route-wise, we're very, very fine. My routes that I developed for the early game, it considers when you have no bonus board gems. So if you're worried about the experience route, the way I've designed this route, we do a shop order, which some shops in this game, they give you some specific fetch quests, and those fetch quests can yield party SP, money, or experience, and we're going to need all of that. But the only really accessible one we can do fast is if we give 5 iron to one of the shops, because 2 chests here contain enough iron that we need, well, to get your blood pumping. Actually, I mean, to get enough experience for all your party members. Because we're going to be doing some item creation, which depends on the passive abilities that I learned from Remy. Remy has the passive ability of cooking. We're going to be doing some item creation involving cooking for the next bit. But first, we're going to need to do some backtracking. I need to get this chest. Oh, I already got it already. That's good. Keep forgetting if I get this chest sometimes or not. But yeah, that's good. So another thing I'm going to need to do is open this. Let's level up the skills. So Remy has just enough individual SP to learn cooking level 4, which is exactly what he needed. Because the item recipe that we're going to need to invent is going to be a level 4 cooking. And that item gives us a plus 20% attack bonus for 5 consecutive battles, as long as the character is still alive by the end. So we're going to do the shop order right now, sell the extra items that we don't need, sell this, and sell these things. So we're going to be buying a next weapon upgrade for Remy, skill manual, and a repair kit. Because we got a few recipes that demand us to... I have enough money, that's good. That require us a few materials. So I didn't sell some components because I needed those components to create our next weapon for Edge. Oh. Oh, I didn't do this part. Well, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of backtracking again. Because, well, I did a sequence incorrectly, but it doesn't lose that much time. That's fine. So the next trigger was just exit the base and re-enter. So Phase traveled to our area via his little ship called the Soul. Unfortunately, we have to hand over control of it. So we're done on Eos. Before we go to our next planet, we go to get our monster jewel from Phase, which allows us to make a neck accessory. We have 2 accessory slots in this game, a wrist accessory and a neck accessory. If we collect enough monster data, we can turn the jewel into this specific monster's data, which we can wear on our necks, which gives a nice bit of bonuses, but because this game, this speedrun is on a fresh file, I don't have any monster data. Otherwise, I would use it to make some really broken items. So, here we go. We're going to be inventing recipes because, well, before we create a recipe, we have to first invent it. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to invent anything. Either that or get a few recipe minerals, which I got earlier. So, very important thing, hamburger steak. But first, we must create our next weapon for Edge, Stormblade. Some pasta, because the pasta gives a defense boost, which we're going to need for one specific battle. And next, our hamburger steaks. Alright, so we got our items. Sometimes you can RNG create an extra item, an extra consumable. And I think you can also have a random chance at a better weapon, because sometimes you can get a better synthesized weapon, which eats up one of the factors. Factors meaning for synthesis later in the game, you can boost a piece of gear by just combining it with another piece of equipment, and you can inherit the previous weapon or armor's abilities and its stats in some way. But we don't have access to it in the beginning of the game, so that's unfortunate. So we land on our next planet, which is pretty cold. It's called Lemris, and it has humanoid life. But unfortunately, we landed next to a village. So, of course, the UP3 was not around at this time, so anything goes in this game. Or the Prime Directive also doesn't apply here as well. This is a different universe. It's not Star Trek, unfortunately. Well, we've got Limmel, our next party member. She's a very young magician. Right now, she's currently not able to do much, but once she levels up, she'll be our primary healer for the beginning of the game. But yeah, we enter the village, go recruit our next character, and pretty much solve the villagers' problems by going to this big, old, ancient-looking place called Alanair Citadel, which is our first real dungeon of this game. Well, if you guys are familiar with Motoi Sakuraba, the composer of both Star Ocean and Tales games, this music is pretty much right up his alley. Before we enter the Citadel, we learn healing on Edge. So it turns out Edge can do some magic. So he's pretty much a prototypical paladin type character. He uses swords and casts healing magic. But first, Alanair Citadel, main goal is to light up these pedestals to gain access to new areas within the dungeon. This music, a lot of synthesis notes, guitar. This track gets reused in Star Ocean 5 too, which is kind of funny, but it is a good track. First, we must grab a few chests here, get a few key items called the Shining Stones, because not all these pedestals that I push will have these green stones inserted in them. So we have to grab a few specific chests that contain those key items in order to progress with the rest of the dungeon. In the Xbox version, there are enemies on the outskirts, on the ramparts here, which is kind of annoying, honestly. What's also annoying is this lizard guy. Lizard guys are one of the worst encounters that you can run into, because, well, you're going to be unprepared for them. They're also fast, and they're also pretty big. So these guys are trouble when it comes to their hitboxes. Oh, we got a skeleton here on the second pass through this loading of this screen, so that's good. So I got our next weapon for Phase as well. Well, if you're going for a PB, you don't have to grab this weapon, because, well, Phase's damage is kind of negligible, but I like to grab it because, well, marathon safety, which is always a good thing to have. Our next goal, we've got all the Shining Stones in this section. Now we must light up the pedestals and move on to the other side of the place. Get another shiny stone here. Play some dodging with the enemies here. Use our first shining stone. You'll notice that it did light up one of the pedestals. Well, we don't have to explore that section, so thus we don't have to light up that pedestal there. Is there another? Well, we're going to be doing some safety saves throughout this run because the way the speed run is, our party is very, very underleveled and very underprepared for the very beginning of the game. So naturally, the first 45 minutes of the game are very, very difficult, and it's very easy to game over if you're not practiced enough. Especially the upcoming boss fight, because, well, the boss fight can massacre you in 2 moves. And if you get hit, well, you have to recover really fast. Like, you have to really watch what everyone is doing. Because, well, the Dragon Newt is our next guy. He comes with 2 allies as well, which weren't the case in the Xbox version, but they're the case in the PS3 version and moving forward. So we're done with this dungeon. We're going to be making our first safety save, and we're going to be doing a little bit of preparation, such as equipping our new gear, using a few consumable items, and changing some passive abilities around. So you'll notice that I changed Beat of Raimi in the very first menu of the game. That is a status changing type. You have 2 types. We've got Burst and Strike. Strike is the more offense-oriented typing, which we're going to be using for our characters here. So let's do a safety save here, and then proceed to our menu. All right. So use Anthropology on Edge, Hamburg Sync on these 2. Equip all of our gear. Change the beats around. You also don't want Slimmel to do nothing because she will try to defeat some enemies, but it's pretty dangerous for her. So here we go. We've got the Dragon Newt. I'm going to be focusing on trying to get him, on getting aggro on him. I'm gonna try to see if Limmel can do some damage with some hatchet reel, because the lizards are weak to fire, and naturally she has some fire abilities. Alright. Alright, so once the ads are finished by the AI, now we can focus on the Dragon Newt himself. So our main goal is to blindside. You'll notice that I blindsided against the wall. That's to skip the animation, because blindside animation does take quite a bit of time. And if I blindside against the wall, I interrupt the animation while still getting the status effect that I want. Which means you can get a lot of DPS this way. This DPS is the key to making fights a lot more manageable in the early run. We also have to watch out for Dragon Newt's Rush Gauge, because he casts a Wind Blade while he's in Rush mode, which is kind of annoying. This fight's going well so far, so I'm happy about that. Oh. Gotta watch out, because when he's doing some moves, knockdown is pretty real on this guy. When he's casting a spell, I also get some free damage in with Earthblade and Hatchet Reel, because might as well, right? We need as much damage as we can with every character. Which is why I like the speedrun. Like, the speedrun makes good use of almost everyone. Like in some way. Unfortunately, he wasn't in good position. I need that reticule targeted in front of him, of Edge. That reticle allows me to initiate blindsides. Oh, he should be almost dead. He's like a sliver of health. Oh, there you go. Raimi got him. So one of the hardest fights of the speedrun is down. So I'm glad. So there you go. But it's not over yet for the difficult fights. The next boss fight coming up is, in my opinion, the hardest because, well, I have to not make a mistake. Otherwise, bad things will happen. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But for now, our goal in Alanair Citadel was, well, get answers because the villagers were affected by stone sickness. But the person we looked for was killed by the dragon newts. So there we go. Now we have to go to a village and look for a person that Limmel knows pretty well. And her name is Lutia. She'll be able to help us out by giving us a item that we need to use on the source of the sickness in order to cure everyone. So hopefully we get a happy ending. So for now, we're going to buy our next weapon for Raimi, the torchbow. Because Raimi's going to be huge in doing support damage to the next boss. Because the next boss is weak against fire. Let's talk to her. Get our symbol stone. And go back to the village because we don't know where the source of the sickness is. So we're going to be doing a bit of backtracking in the via an alternate route. The route here is, we couldn't take it before because, well, there is an invisible plot wall. It's quite literally a plot wall. But now it's visible, but we get a key item that pretty much deactivates that plot wall for us. So, we're going to be dashing right to that area. The trees you saw in the background there, they're blocking our way. Even though they're invisible, the game still thinks they're obstacles. But unless we grab this key item, the Fairy Orchid, which essentially just makes everything, makes all the optical illusions disappear, which means we can pass through. So the trees in the background are gone now. But we have these trees. These trees you may recognize from Star Ocean 3. We don't have to fight them at all. But if you were to try to fight the next boss casually, you may want to fight those trees because they drop fire gems. And you can make a fire sword with edge with item creation. But unfortunately in the speedrun setting, it's way too slow to create the fire sword. But it does make the boss quite a bit easier. But you're looking at like a 3 or 4 minute time loss just because you want to create the fire blade. So that's something that I cut out from this route because, well, you get a weapon upgrade in the next dungeon anyways, but it's weaker than the fire sword. So casually, you'll have no use for that weapon at all, but for the speedrun setting, it's a very, very, very useful item. But for now, we must go talk to the Elder, who is Limmel's grandpa, by the way. He tells us that we're not the first aliens to arrive on Lemurus, which is this planet. So he gives us this fire ring to go access that area, because, well, that area is beyond the mountains. The Rinoa Mountains, the same Rinoa in Final Fantasy VIII. She shares the same name as the mountains here. Anyways, we get our first elemental disintegration ring, the fire ring. It comes empty in charges, so we have to go to a sorcerer who restores the magic charges on the ring for us for free the first time. Subsequently, we have to pay her, but fortunately in the speedrun setting, we don't have to go buy more additional charges at all. Because 20 charges on the fire ring is more than enough. You'll notice that I'm not doing anything with my controller. That's because if you try to sprint on ice, you're not going to do anything. But if you press L2 on your controller, you can activate auto run on your guy. So that's pretty good. So the nice thing about disintegration ring interactions is you get experience and party SP out of it too. And it gives quite a bit of experience, which we're going to need for Limmel. So we have to unfreeze these two to progress. I'm gonna play it a little risky, and I'm not gonna safety save for the upcoming parts. Because, well, these enemies here can kill my party, like if I'm not careful enough. Especially the saber-toothed tigers. Yes, I know they look like squirrels, but trust me, they're called tigers. So, here's our next dungeon, the Celestial Ship. So those lizard guys that we had earlier, they're part of a race called the Cardianon. Alright, but first, let's do this trick. Well, there's an ice ramp here. If I try to one-up it, normally I wouldn't be able to get through, but if I time my sprint correctly, I get a little speed boost as soon as Edge lands on the ice, and that just happened, second try, which is really good. So that allows me to skip a little bit of this dungeon. And now we can move on. Oh, we got a nice ice boost here too, to the end of the dungeon. First, we must grab our weapon upgrade for Edge, which is tucked hidden away in this room. So let's grab that. Grab our weapon here. And try to dodge a few. Oh wow. Let's run away. It was hard to react to this guy because, well, it's hard to see beyond this door. We can't adjust our camera that easily. But yeah, that's okay. We lose our bonus board if we escape as well, and also if our controllable character gets KO'd. So that's a few more ways to lose bonus board gems. But that's okay. Our next battle that we're gonna fight is a few waves, and that's gonna be our opportunity to farm bonus board gems. And that's gonna set this tone for the speedrun, because if you want a PB, you want to preserve your bonus board throughout the speedrun. Let's use our few skill manuals. Critical hit on you. Let's see. Equip our weapons. Anti-stun amulets. We're gonna heal up with Edge, is healing. Turn off Firebolts. Gonna skill boost critical hit. And I think that's it. Unequip Rising Blade, because Rising Blade is really pretty problematic for us. Turn on the AI, and I think we should be good to go. So yeah, we have to fight a few waves encounters. Limel's going to be helping us here because she now has access to the healing spell. Healing allows her to, well, pretty much heal. Uh-oh. Alright. I'm going to try to control a few characters. Ah, wow. Limel got the last hit. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I want to finish off every enemy with Edge. Also want to focus on the Wise Lizardman. That Lizardman can do some few buffs. And that's not good. So same thing, blindside everything. Oh my god. I'm not getting a lot of gems, which is unfortunate. Oh well, I'll try my best. Alright. The nice thing about these guys is they have a lot of cooldown. Oh my god, that's a lot of gems. Wow, that's unfortunate. I've never gotten this little gems. Oh wow. Alright. Ow. Well, Limel died. Well, that's not good. I also have to interrupt the spell. Alright, that's good. Alright, let's revive Limel, turn on AI to manual. Let's try to salvage this by getting a bonus board gem. Oh man. Alright, good. Well, we have 7 gems. I ideally want like 10 gems. Alright, we're level 8 anyways, but still, it's 6. That didn't get as much experience as I wanted. I think we'll be fine though. Alright. Let's get this heal points. We'll also be grabbing a safety heal. Or safety accessory here. That gives a little bit of a HP boost, which we're going to need for our for Edge, because, well, he's going to be tanking a lot of hits from this upcoming boss. And let's make our prep right now. Power Bracelet to you. Let's see. Skill boost, critical hits, Earthblade, and Sonic Horn. And we're going to be doing some safety saving as well, because this is the boss I was talking about, where if I make a mistake, I could die very, very easily. So, gotta watch for that. This is also one of the longest fights in the speedrun as well, just because he has a sheer amount of HP. So, this guy is another one of those weak point bosses. Each weak point boss has their own music, which is his dreadful, sadly, not very memorable music. So yeah. Main goal, he exposes his weak point. Oh my god! That's actually not good. I wanted aggro. Good. Alright, that was not a good start, but I think we'll recover fairly nicely. I need to watch my positioning for a few characters as well. And also watch HP on everyone. So our main damage dealers are going to be Edge and Raimi with Torchbow and the Cardianon Sword. FaZe is going to be supporting us with Earthblade because of juggling capabilities. Ooh, I was close. Alright, this is the kind of combo that you want to deal to Brachial. You want to deal a lot of hits with both Edge and Raimi, while also preserving combo with Earthblade. So something like that is definitely a good sign. And the best way I found to get him as much hits as possible is cornering Brachial, restraining Brachial into this corner right here, which exposes his weak points to a most very vulnerable spot. I'm focusing a little bit because I wanna not die here. Okay. Also want to preserve aggro. The way I preserve aggro is if I do a long blindside. That preserves his targeting ratio on Edge, which is pretty good, and is what I want to see. Because you want to bait the guy to keep doing Dragon Tornado, which exposes his weak points. Once he's down below half HP, he'll start using Freezing Circle, which is a lot better because you don't take any splash damage. Also have to watch for a few specific moves that he does. One of them is he uses a lot more when he uses a lot more when what was I saying? Anyways, when he's in rush mode. And that tail spike comes out fast. There's a hard knockdown on it too. And it's just bad news all around. And it does a lot of damage. So you can often combo that and kill your Edge right away. Keep an eye on Raimi's FP as well with Blackberries. Oh, he's using Freezing Circle, which is good. But don't want to risk doing hits because, well, he has a risk of freezing me. Which is not good, by the way. Alright, that's good. We'll do a long blindside. Restore MP with Raimi one more time with Blackberries. Should almost be dead, which is good. As long as you keep doing Dragon Tornado or thing, I'll be fine. I'm gonna make him do that second hit. A Dragon Tornado. Should be okay. Play it safe a little bit. Should be down shortly, actually. Like, he's very close to dying. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure what his hit stun was, so that's why I was a little hesitant there. This last one should do. Should we use the last blackberries? I think it's fine. We should almost be down. One more healing for good measure. There we go. That's Miracle down. Hardest boss in the speedrun, so thank God I'm alive. No mistakes were made, so that's also good. So, and the nice thing is, we also keep our bonus board, which means a lot of level ups for our guys. So, this guy was the source of disease, but fortunately, he disappeared, along with all the other lizard guys. Well, it also made our symbol stone disappear as well. So, it's not good, so we have to report back to the village and tell them bad news. But before we do that, let's do some menuing here. Let's skill boost, critical hit, stampede slash. What else do we need to do? Turn off Windblade. Equip Stampede Slash because Stampede Slash is our next good ability for Edge. For a little bit of safety, I'm going to turn on the AI, and we'll be good to go. It's just prep for the next area. Oh my god, that squirrel was almost there. But we're well equipped now, so that squirrels will never be a problem for us. Alright. Out of the Celestial Ship. And now a little bit more backtracking. Yeah. So far, I'm very happy with how this run is turning out. No major setbacks. Every fight went pretty smoothly. Which is what I'm worried about the most, by the way, is all the fights. Because some of the fights are one of the more difficult in the speedrun because, well, if you don't have a great understanding of the game in terms of the fights, then the fights themselves can pose a pretty big challenge. If I were to not skip any blindside animations, then the fights would be a lot more tricky because I am doing the blindside animation skips, I'm able to get a lot more active frames of actually doing any kind of skills and attacks. So having those active frames really help a lot in terms of just keeping the guy at bay and just making fights faster. Well, because you're doing damage, of course. But yeah, fortunately, Grandpa passed away because he fully turned to stone. And we're done with this planet, so we're going to be taking our party member Limmel with us because, well, I don't know what we're thinking. Just taking someone from their home planet and making them travel with us to space, to the stars. To the stars. Alright. Our next planet is Cardionon, which is the same planet as these lizard guys, where they came from. So, we're now on our way. And in these sequences where we're traveling between planets, we can do some private actions, but because of the speedrun, Edge only has one personality. He just goes to bed. I mean, I would like to go to bed too, every time. In a way, it's like time travel. Once you just fall asleep, once you wake up, you're at your destination. I wish real life worked like that too. So, our arrival to Carnunon isn't really the prettiest because, well, it's actually a huge Deep Space Nine ship. Instead of it being a station, it's actually a big spaceship. So we're essentially raiding Deep Space Nine right now. So our main target is going to be these Carnunon soldiers. These Carnunon soldiers are pretty dangerous because they can kill our guys very, very easily. Alright, there we go. Focus on this guy, too. Alright. Oh, ooh. Alright, good. Got a critical gem. Nice, another one. Alright, we filled our bonus board gem. That's good. So that was our main goal of this fight. Well, first, survive it. Because the Carnunon soldiers, as you saw, they did a lot of damage to Limmel. So, you don't want to see her die, because she's our healing. So, let's go and continue our infiltration of Deep Space Nine. But first, we need to grab our next elemental disintegration ring, which is in this chest right here, the Thunder Ring. It only comes with 2 charges, and we have to use free charges. So, how do we get more charges? Well, you'll find out shortly. Let's first blow up this panel, which denied us access to the depths of Deep Space Nine. Get the Thunder Ring. From charge the Thunder Ring with the discharge. So that gives us a full charge of the Thunder Ring, which has 20 charges, by the way. Just like the Fire Ring. Let's get past the robots here. This place is fairly long, very maze-like. It's very, what was it called again? Like, it's very uniform, that's what it says. But the route through Deep Space Nine is not uniform. Like, you're going to be doing a lot of exploring casually, because all the rooms look the same. So yeah, remember our Dragonid friend? He's a regular enemy now. Oh, he was always a regular enemy. Alright, we're going to be doing a bit of shopping, restock on our revives, and our scrambling units, which are essentially the smoke bomb of Star Ocean. So, we're going to be using scrambling units throughout the run in a few encounters towards the late game, because we can't really face them. And, well, this panel, we run into this cryogenic chamber, which has all these lizard guys. They're red now. Lizard guys here. Turns out they're like the very advanced evolution of these Carnunon guys, which are more humanoid in nature. And love this panel. So what we just did is we committed identity theft. We took a identity card off a dead guy. We're gonna register the ID card and commit some tax fraud. I mean, get access to the inner depths. So I'm gonna use that ID card, register it under the guy's name. Let's see where identity fraud will take us. Gonna use this ID card and proceed on. Oh no, we got thrown in prison. This is what you get when you do commit identity fraud. So we must talk amongst our allies. And then get broken out of jail by our big green Mega Man, or Robocop. His name is Bacchus. He joins our party, and we're going to be using him for the majority of the mid-game. We've approached the mid-game now. I like to break up this run into 3 45-minute sections. We're in the middle part of the game, and Bacchus deals so much damage to the next boss. It's pretty laughable. We skip past these guys, get this bow, and move on. So yeah, that area is hard to like dodge all the enemies here in the PS3 version, but because the frame rate is so much better in PS4 and Steam, it's so easy to dodge those encounters. So we got this Rage Manual, give it to Remy, HP boost, and chain combos to our robot guy, Bacchus. Gonna equip a few things as well. Gonna unequip a few things. Give the attack bracelet, unequip this, equip the bow. Alright, let's learn the right moves this time. Galvanic Shock. My run last night, I accidentally put some SP into Force Breaker, which you never used in speedrun. You want to also take out these 2 abilities for Remy and FaZe. Alright, and change the AI a little bit. We should be good to go now. So we're going to be using Bacchus starting here. So he's very powerful, like more powerful than our current guys. And we can do some dash attacks with our guy. So dash attacks here do a lot of DPS, as well as close quarters attacks. Close quarters attacks you can do if you hold your directional stick towards the enemy and also press your attack button at the same time. Like directional close quarters attacks are pretty good for a few characters. For Edge, he does a launcher. For Remy, she does a kick, I believe. And for Bacchus, well, he just smacks him with his arm and shoots a shot after. And some characters have a different way of charging up their rush gauge with circle, which is what I did to get blindsides. If you move with Bacchus, he just does a dash. And Bacchus's skill, like movement skill, is really, really good. Yeah, these encounters here are forced, so we have to fight them in order to move on. This next battle here, I'm going to need to switch in FaZe. Also, remember to grab this chest, by the way. This chest is pretty important, and I forgot it last night, and it wasn't great. Just got it. Right. I want to blindside this guy. Alright, turn off the AI for everyone. And switch in FaZe. Alright, that's good. Good fight. No one's dead too, so that's good. Alright. Dragoon's down. Now, open this chest. Get 4 EM bombs. What EM bombs do is they do a fixed amount of damage, 2,500 damage, over a small radius. Well, these guys are in the way. So if I bait them out this way, that's good. Let's move on. Got one more of these guys, the Dragoons. Wait for these barriers. So there's 2 kinds of barriers in this next section. In this section, I call them soft and hard barriers. Soft barriers have a faint laser beam barrier. Hard barriers, they'll never go away. The beams, that is. Like this one's a soft barrier because we can't see if it's when the. Oh no! Alright, let's fight this one. Ow. Okay. I want to preserve my bonus board. Otherwise, I would have escaped. Oh, wow. Whew. I have to actually use a hamburger on him because he actually got frozen. Well, that's unfortunate. He's frozen again. Wow. That doesn't happen. Alright. Let's kill him. Well, at least we got our bonus board. Well, we're gonna need to apply the hamburger steak again. Oh well. Yeah, trust me, these barriers are actually passable. You have to break these panels, those yellow panels along the wall. Oh my god, not again. I'm actually gonna run away this time. There goes my bonus board. That's not really required to finish the speedrun, but it's nice to have. Unfortunately, stuff like that happens, and well, you gotta make some sacrifices here and there. But that's life, right? So, gotta make the most of what we're given. So here we have our big guy. The guy is a dragon general. So this guy's slow, we don't want to fight him, but beyond him contains a very, very important chest, the Mind Flare skill manual, which boosts our intelligence stat by 300% once at max level, for about 30 seconds. We're going to be using some spells towards the late game, because spells do a fixed amount of damage and ignore the enemy's defense stat. We'll be at a point where defense stat for our enemies is too high for our attacks to do any meaningful damage. So that's why we have these spells. And there's only one spell character that we're going to use to do damage, and her name's going to be Miria, who we'll see in Cardinal if you don't skip the cutscenes, but we don't get her until very late in the game. But yeah, first a lot of R&R introductions because of the long elevator ride. Wish they had music. Oh well. And then we're going to need to reapply the hamburger steak on Bacchus. And fight our next battle. So this boss fight is very easy because all you need to do is one volley of attacks with Bacchus. But he needs to, just like Brachio, expose his weak points with E-beam. Yes, like that. You'll notice that I switched characters from Bacchus to Edge is because when you're controlling a character and they do attacks, there's a little bit of lag for some reason. Whenever you're doing hits as your controllable character. So I switched to another character to reduce the amount of lag. That saves a little bit of time. So yeah, Bacchus pretty much manhandled the boss because, well, the boss is weak to Thunder. And conveniently, we have a Thunder-based skill in Bacchus. So that's why I leveled up to max. But for now, Bacchus was blown up by the boss. So he's temporarily out of the party. Now we must escape because Deep Space Nine is now initiating Warp 10 or something like that. Actually, Warp 10 is like theoretically possible. But again, Star Trek Voyager did such a poor job of explaining Warp 10 that I don't really care anymore. We're just escaping because, well, we've got bulkheads closing on us. The bulkheads, honestly, you will outrun them because Edge has this command sprint ability, which I've used throughout the run. So we'll easily outrun these guys. We'll easily outrun the bulkheads closing. Well, Bacchus is now part of our crew. He advises us to go to his home planet, EN2. And that's our next destination. So let's take a little bit of time to warp out. Stay hydrated. And rest up. And set rooms, because, well, we have rooms assignments in this game. And we want to pair FaZe and Edge up because our very last party member is going to replace FaZe, and he'll only room with Edge. So that's why we set Bacchus in his own room. And like the lazy bum we are, we're just gonna sleep our way through this journey. But I don't know. It looks like something is happening. We have to initiate emergency warp out. Uh-oh, it's not good. So... in defying all kinds of physics, well, we enter an event horizon of a black hole, time travel, and we're now on Earth in the past, in 1955 or something like that. Anyways, we are now in Shadow Hearts from the New World, because, well, this sequence of the game is exactly like Roswell in Shadow Hearts from the New World, featuring Johnny Garland from New York. Don't mess with New Yorkers. Also, shoutouts to Shadow Hearts from the New World. Pretty good RPG. Y'all should play it. Shadow Hearts is a very fun series, and the third game is a very special game. And this area is essentially a ripoff of the Roswell sequence of Shadow Hearts from the New World. So we're gonna have fun with this sequence as much as we can. Even our main guy looks like Johnny Garland. He's got blonde hair, green eyes, uses bladed weapons, and is essentially superhuman. So yeah, we meet this guy named Klaus. He asks us to rescue this cat girl named Miracle. And essentially tells us to leave this planet because we have too much technology. Because, well, we brought along the Countess, and we're essentially just too advanced for Earth right now. We break out of prison, well, we have yellow Donkey Kongs and little alien dudes. We're not gonna fight them. So, this is what we've been keeping in Roswell all this time. It's kind of scary thinking about it. Let's do a little bit of menuing here. Let's see. Don't think I need to equip anything. Alright, skill boosts, Stampede Slash, characters. I think that should be good. Because we're going to be using Bacchus again to beat this next guy, called the Genomic Beast. So the Genomic Beast has a chance of inflicting paralysis with his tail. We want to bait him into doing an attack. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, I see. Oh. He recovered in time. Oh, what? This guy's kind of annoying, honestly. Alright, so that had to do a little help. Kind of unintentional, but Genomic Beast, same strategy, just involves blindsides now. Got lucky that I didn't get paralyzed with Bacchus. Well, I did grab a Basil earlier, which cures the paralysis effect. I think I did. I don't remember. Anyways, we got Miracle in our party. We're not going to see Miracle as much in the speedrun, because she's only situationally useful for one fight. That's because we get an elemental weapon that that boss is weak against. And, well, Miracle is essentially just a blast cannon. Miracle is one of the best characters in the game casually, but you won't see much of her in this setting. Now we must escape from Earth because apparently we Earthlings fiddled with our food too much, and now we're gonna destroy the Earth because of that. So that's unfortunate. I think I grabbed this before. Right. Compact stun bombs. We're gonna use it for synthesis. But first, we must escape from Earth. So instead of fighting Sentinel, well, we fought Earth, and we destroyed Earth instead of destroying a robot. So we destroyed Earth. We're back in our own dimension, and now we're traveling to Star Ocean 1 because, well, we're on Roke. All the music here is based from Star Ocean 1, including battle music, dungeons, everything. So, nice throwback to the very first game in the series, Star Ocean First Departure, which recently got a re-release on PS4 called Star Ocean First Departure R, which is essentially the most polished version of Star Ocean 1 to date. So, if you guys are interested, you can buy Star Ocean First Departure R on PS4. It's on PSN. I don't think it's an expensive game either, so if you guys are hunkering for a Star Ocean fix, that game is perfect for you. But yeah, enjoy the music here because it's a remix, it's a variation of the music that you're going to hear in Star Ocean 1. Get a lot of money out of this. Ooh, bird. Alright, the bird was there, but thankfully we got away from it. Skip this cutscene here. Raimi's just being very, very clumsy. She trips. Very unusual for her. We're just gonna ignore it and proceed on. So yeah, Roke, very beautiful place, nice scenery. Enemies are somewhat similar too. And we're also gonna ride our bunnies. Bunnies are essentially the mascot of the Star Ocean series. And in this speedrun, we're actually going to ride a bunny. I don't think any other Star Ocean game does this for speedruns, where the bunny is actually essential to progress the story. So we're going to go to the very first village of the speedrun, Roke. Tatroy. Tatroy, there's a statue in the middle of a very familiar character from Star Ocean 1. He has both arms this time. The statue of Ashley Burnbelt, playable character in Star Ocean 1. You can also fight him in this game too. He's the third hardest enemy in the game, in the post-game. But yeah, we're not going to see him at all in this playthrough. And now we rescued this bird girl called Sarah Duran, related to two of the characters, I think an aunt of Eris and Joshua from Star Ocean 1. Also playable characters in that game. So a lot of throwbacks and references to characters in Star Ocean 1 as well. So that's pretty neat. So we're going to learn about bunnies by talking to this guy, this band of nomads. And Faye's got a new aesthetic change. He now has a black cloak-like thing. Let's search for bunnies, but unfortunately, Raimi actually contracted stone sickness, so she wasn't being clumsy at all. And now she's out of the party for now, and we must find a cure for her. So we enlisted the help of our Fetterfolk friend Sarah, because she knows the king. And the king may know an idea of how to cure the stone sickness. There's Sarah. We're going to see her later. She's a playable character here. And she's going to be our principal healer. But you don't get her until the very late game. So that's unfortunate here. So I'm going to be buying a few safety items here. The pumpkin extract here. Pumpkin status is quite straightforward. You get turned into a pumpkin. You can only move while as a pumpkin. The status, fortunately, is not permanent, but it does stick around for quite a while. So we got to get the extracts because being a pumpkin for the speedrun is really bad for us. Get the health seeds here. And, well, apparently a thief called the bandits, actually he's a mercenary. He apparently has the cure for the stone sickness. So now we're going to go after him. Well, the best hiding spot for him is, well, register in the tournament, which he just did. So we're going to prepare for the tournament right now. Laser cannon. And we're going to prep up Edge because we're going to be fighting the guy one-on-one with Edge. And there's a reason why I learned the anthropology skill in the very beginning of the game. So enemies have a typing in this game, and our characters can learn a passive skill that allows enemies to drop, of certain typings to drop specific items. And for this speedrun, the item that the Black Eagle drops is the attack seeds. You can only get it if you have the anthropology skill equipped, because he's of humanoid typing enemy. And Edge has this passive ability, which allows him to drop that item. I did not know that it was an anthropology ability until I wondered why I never got attack seeds in speedruns. That's when I figured out it was an anthropology drop. But yeah, here's the Black Eagle. This guy is pretty dangerous. So we're just gonna corner him and try to time our Stampede Slashes. So our second Stampede Slash will also preserve the blindside attack. I usually do my Stampede Slash as soon as my last hit of the first one connects. But it's kind of hard. I don't know what the precise timing of it is, but it's annoying. That's all I can tell you. We got a few critical hits though, which is pretty good. Like, you want to see a lot of last hit critical hits with Stampede Slash. That deals a lot of damage. Like, you'll notice it does 3,000 compared to the 1,200 that I usually do. So yeah, that's a little bit of RNG luck there. So he's almost dead. Pretty good fight. Very, very good Black Eagle fight. A lot of critical hits there. See, we got the attack seeds, so that's good. Now we have a cutscene, which we're going to skip. Turns out Miria also traveled to Roke and pretty much rescues Edge from pinch, from being bugged by Free Guys. So we got Raimi back because we got the cure for the stone sickness. But now Sarah's kidnapped, and now we have to investigate her whereabouts and hopefully rescue her. So yeah, now we're done in Tatroy now. Well, first, before we go to our next village, we have to do list fake. Well, it turns out that Nobats here they kind of disappeared. So we don't know where it went. So our next area is a lead. We have a lead on a fortune teller that Miracle knows about from Legend. First, we must ride Bunny. Here's the bunny. Flappy ears and all. So, bunnies are very cute creatures. And what bunnies do for the speedrun is, well, they allow us to cross through quicksand trenches. These trenches are going to absorb you. You're going to void out via a la Ocarina of Time or any other good 3D Zelda game if you get sucked into this, unless you have a bunny. And a bunny allows you to cross through these quicksand trenches pretty easily. Get a silver chalice from this chest here, which we're going to sell. The silver chalice is essentially a permanent blueberry. It heals 30% HP, but you can only use it once per battle. The problem is, well, we're not going to use it. We're going to sell it for money because it's worth a lot of money. And we're going to be doing quite a bit of shopping in the next town, because we're going to be grabbing skill manuals to set ourselves up for the rest of the game. But yeah, deserts of Roke are pretty. Now we're going to enter a cave. Also very familiar music. Grab this chest here. Has the Riot Potions. Riot Potions make your skills cost 0 MP for 60 seconds. So essentially is essentially infinite MP, only for a limited amount of time. We're going to be using that for one specific fight because, well, we're going to be casting a lot of spells in that fight. And, well, we don't want to restore MP constantly, so using the Riot Potions here just saves a little bit of menu time because you're not going to be healing your MP. So that's good. So another piece of familiar music is the Purgatorium. So, Purgatorium, just as confusing as ever in this game. Currently, we can't really get through because, well, we're plot walled. In Purgatorium, there are two statues that look just like Raimi and Edge. Those guys are called the Mua. Apparently, Edge and Remy are called the descendants of Bua. That's what the Cardianon guys said when we committed identity fraud and talked to the guys on the screen. But that's the scene that we skipped. So the Bua appeared on both Cardianon and Rogue. Weird, because Rogue seems like it's isolated civilization. So yeah, weird nonetheless. So yeah, people on Rogue are what's known as Feldbull. They've got animal-like features such as tails, ears. They're essentially real-life furries. So it's a good fantasy world setting. Gonna be doing a little bit of menuing here. Just unequipping a few things. I'm gonna be equipping the full snaps. What the full snaps do is the full snaps, they essentially give 25% more money at the end of battles. I got them at the end of Earth earlier. So, let's sell a few items. Monster Soul. Sell our weapons. If you guys are fans of Edge Maverick, unfortunately he's not going to be seeing much use anymore. Because, well, we're not going to use him for the rest of the speedrun. It's because, he's too close combat oriented, and close combat characters don't do very well in the speedrun for the rest of the game. I'm gonna buy a few skill manuals, critical hit, HP boost, and this. And chain combos. That's the other one I'm looking at. So yeah, that's all our shopping for this part. And we're gonna see our fortune teller. Well, her name is Elena Ference. She's actually an augurer. And she makes very accurate predictions of the future, given a few specific scenarios. So she's very, very reliable, and gives us this Lamp of Guidance, which is essentially a key card. Because Purgatorium is it shouldn't exist in Rogue. Well, because it has key card access. We get Miria finally, and we're going to be using Miria quite a bit. So, Mind Flare on Miria, critical hit on these two girls, chain combos on these two, skill boost, HP boost, Mind Flare, chain combos. We're going to be using Mind Flare and Ice Needles. Ice Needles is one of the best ability spells in the game. This. Also want to equip Comet Impact. Prepare my guys for later. This should be fine. Change do I beats for Bacchus from striking first because Bacchus will no longer be offense oriented. We're gonna focus on Bacchus' bulk for the rest of the speedrun. So now that we have the Lamp of Guidance, now we can proceed into Purgatorium and free Sarah because she's being held there. So we met this guy in Trop earlier. His name's Tamil. He's going to be the next boss because, well, he's an evil cultist. He's also a Grigori, which is the kind of enemy that has weak points, which we fought 3 of them already. But this one's a little bit more special because, well, he doesn't have the same battle music. And you can see his life bar too. So that's kind of unusual for a Grigori as well. So you'll notice that a lot of fights here, the boss's HP is unknown, but for some bosses, like, their HP is visible. Like, I can tell based on the music of the battle that's playing. Like, if it's the Grigori boss battle, then you're gonna not be able to see the HP. But if it's like a normal boss battle, like the Dragon Newts, with that music, you're going to be able to see the HP of the boss. So that's something I noticed in this game. And that's why you'll see a lot of a few fights where you won't be able to see the boss's HP, and some that you'll be able to see. in Purgatorium, these series of puzzles that I just did, the order of the urns that you light up is actually fixed. So there's actually no randomness at all to this to the Purgatorium when it comes to the puzzle elements. All you need to do is follow where the statues are pointing their halberds at. Their intersecting line of sight is the next is where your next urn is going to be to light up. First, we must fight a mini-boss. The name is Guardian Beast. We're going to be using the Void status effect. What Void does is it nullifies any passive abilities that the enemy has. I'm going to use the same tech that I used with Sahario. Oh. I was supposed to do a full round of ice rolls, but okay. One more? Alright, that's good. Turn manual. And put on... Switch in Miracle. And beat up Guardian Beast. We're gonna need some experience on Miracle, which is why I switched her in. So that's good. And we got our next disintegration ring, the light ring. Very, very notorious ring in speedrunning, or not speedrunning, in casual, because, well, guess how many charges the light ring has? Ow. If you guessed 1, you're correct. You have to recharge the light ring at least once in the speedrun. But it is a pain casually, because the only way you can recharge the light ring is with these light crystals, and there's not many of them. There's an ability that you can use to charge disintegration rings without the sorcerer, but it involves a late game skill, and only Limbo can learn it. This room can be very confusing because we've got a lot of urns scattered around. But thankfully, the order is still fixed. There's a lot of statues to help guide you. Grab that chest there for money. I swear, I think there's different formations in this screen. Maybe not. Anyways, this specific order is how you light up these urns here. If you fail one of these puzzles, by the way, you'll be thrust into an encounter. You can't escape from it, so you have to fight it. It's kind of annoying, so that's why we don't route any encounters here at all. We don't want to fight them anyways. So yeah, our next use of the light ring is coming up right here. And this puzzle is a little bit more special. This statue won't wait for you. Like, he'll just go on his merry way, point at the statues without stopping. He won't wait for you. But thankfully, the puzzle here is easy. So we have one more puzzle to do, and it's one of the longest ones. Ooh, that guy nearly ambushed me. Yeah, that's the thing about enemies in this game is they can hide, and then you just come out of nowhere, and it won't be nice. Let's just put it that way. Like, even when you're opening doors, an enemy can just pop up right there, and you'll be forced into an encounter. Yeah, that's just bad luck there. So yeah, these puzzles here, it's fixed. I'll be doing a little bit of camera manipulation. So what you can do with your camera is if you press R1, your compass will reset to north, or your camera direction will reset to north. So that's pretty good. You can also press R3 on your controller to set the camera to face forward. Forward as in the direction that Edge is facing. Yeah, this puzzle here is fixed. It's arduous, and it's very easy to forget the next order if you don't pay attention to the statue. Plus, casually, you'll be wanting to fight the enemies here, anyways. Ooh, close. But if I do get into encounter and Rogue, you're gonna hear the main battle theme for Star Ocean 1 in a nice remix. So yeah, it'll be a nice treat for a casual audience out here. Let up spot, reset the camera. Oh yeah, if you do mess up, you can just exit the room and re-enter, and the puzzle will just reset. So that's a nice thing. Alright. Ah. Puzzles. Alright, we got him. Nice little bit of break here. Keep yourselves nice and hydrated while we drain the tub of water. Well, I don't know whose bath water that is, but I don't want to get into that. But we've drained it, so here goes all the bath water. But once we've drained this bath water, we get this chest here. This chest here has the Ancient Cannon, which is a very important weapon for Bacchus. It's his next weapon upgrade. What it's doing in Rogue, I don't know. But of course, this place is weird in general. Alright, so what we're gonna do is equip our new weapon, heal up, save, and use a hammer and sake on Bacchus, just to be sure. Because we want the attack boost on Bacchus. Because we're going to be using both him and Miria. Both of them are from Morphus, by the way. Let's see. Hammer and sake, there you go. And the reason why I turned manual on for Bacchus is I don't want to activate rush mode. I'm going to be doing a very specific mechanic with Bacchus. And I'm also going to be using Miria in tandem. Which is called the rush combo. A rush combo, you need full rush gauge. You have to activate it and use a skill consecutively in that order, like in a very fast sequence. It essentially is like a limit break mode. I'll switch in Miria soon. Activate Mind Flare. Alright. With a 100% rush gauge, let us target Tamuel, which I mentioned earlier. Activate this. And go ham. With Miria and Bacchus in tandem, with boosted Ice Needles and Galvanic Shock. So you'll see his HP drain like butter. That's how good rush combos are. So essentially, if you do a full rush combo, which is 7 skills, you'll be able to drain the Tamuel of all of his HP. So that's pretty good. So the reason why I took off skills from Edge and Raimi is, well, it actually takes the character that's closest in proximity to your target. But if they don't have skills, that rule can be ignored altogether. Alright, let's revive Raimi. Miracle in there. And we're good. That was a good fight. We got our levels with Miracle as well. That's also very good. So that's Samuel. Yeah, if you left Samuel alive, he's actually pretty tough. Because, well, both his allies, well, let's cure that poison first of all. Because, well, your experience. That's what happens when you get poisoned. There's a red flash in the screen. Anyways, his ads are boosted, Samuel himself is boosted, he does quite a bit of nasty attacks. His spells are actually really damaging too. Like, he casts Firebolt, which is a very basic spell, but his Firebolt does so much damage, so... yeah, he's pretty powerful. But that's why we use rush combos to take care of him. Yeah, this is the longest sequence of backtracking in the run, so... it's gonna be quite a bit of walking and sprinting and everything. But yeah, we essentially rescued Sarah. She was being held because she was essential to revive the Archfiend, Asmodeus. Very familiar name if you're familiar with Star Wars 1. He's one of the final bosses in that game. Alright, so, it's good. Bit of backtracking here. Oh. Well, we're gonna run away from this. We don't really need the bonus board anymore. But this is the same music as in Star Wars 1, so glad you guys got to hear a little bit of it. Now we exit the Purgatorium. I'm gonna actually grab a chest here, because we did use quite a bit of fresh sages. So it'll give us a little bit of replenishment there. But now we start our long backtracking sequence. Like, we're gonna ride the bunny one more time. So if you guys are fans of the bunny, well, you're in for a treat. We're gonna do a little bit more of the bunny this time around as well. So yeah, for prepping for the late game, we're going to still use Miria, but her last useful battle is going to be the next one, because we're going to be phasing her out of the party soon enough. Because while symbology does have its advantages, it's only very useful for that one very specific fight, because enemies' defenses is that much bigger, that much higher, that our melee attacks are not going to do anything unless we get a critical hit. And you don't want to rely on critical hits for a fight like the next one. More floppy ear bunny. If you turn off the graphics settings, the bunny's ears are just going to be aerodynamic instead of a floppy. First, let's grab this chest. It contains money. We're going to be a lot of money for a bit of shopping. Our next chest here. Yeah, the bunny just kicks the chest right open. That we get Big Mirrors, which is a 70% HP restore item. We're going to be using Bacchus as a tank, and well, I'm not going to count on him surviving, but he's going to survive long enough if I do marathon strats. So we're going to be implementing those right now, because we're going to be getting Sarah, who will allow us to do some synthesis for item creation, because she has that skill. And we're going to be synthesizing some health seeds on Bacchus's equipment, because we want him to be an absolute tank in terms of HP. In fact, let's unequip him right now. Need some pasta on him, because the pasta does give a little bit of a defense boost, which is pretty good. We're not going to ride the bunny again. So long, bunny. But yeah, bunnies, hallmark staple of Star Ocean series. I'm glad that the bunny is actually a required part of the speedrun, just to remind you guys that bunnies do exist. Well, there's bunny races that you can do in this game. It's much easier than Star Wars 3, and the fact that you can actually control the races by controlling your bunny, of course. That's good. But yeah, we're going all the way back to the very beginning of Road. Uh-oh! That bird just came out of nowhere. So, well, as you all know, birds are jerks. That's the #1 rule in RPGs in general. Never trust any bird. Well, except good birds like Sarah. Bird girls are fine. Alright. Nearly back. I don't know if I got that chest earlier. I might have skipped past it, but it contains the holy water. Holy waters in this game, they heal it. Oh, I did. Okay. They heal the curse status effects. Curse is like MP poison, but also inflicts some hit stun whenever the MP damage inflicts. So it's pretty bad. And you don't want curse to affect your main spellcaster. Hello, Welch. So Welch is pissed at us because we took a long vacation in Roke. But it turns out there's trouble on Eos, our very first planet. So we get Sarah because she's a stowaway. And we're going to do some item creation for some marathon safety. We'll be synthesizing a few HP factors. Maximum HP plus 7%. Where is it? There we go. We're going to be doing a lot more synthesis in the late game, so if you guys like your purple-haired Welch, well, you're going to see a lot of her later. Yeah, Welch in this game is the only instance where she's actually purple-haired. In all other instances, she's blonde. But she still keeps her mannerisms all the same. Alright. Back on Eos, it turns out that the base that we went back to was destroyed. How unfortunate. And it turns out that the guy behind it was us Earthlings? Really? Well, we'll investigate this. Let's first do some menuing here, equip some stuff back. Equip items, give HP boost to Sarah. HP boost on Bacchus and Sarah. Turn off any offensive spells that Sarah has. And turn off all the combos as well. Let's see. Feast on full force. And that should be it with this menu. But yeah, we gave an HP boost to Sarah because we want her to have as much HP as possible to survive any attacks that the next guys do. Because the next fight is very notorious for casual players because, well, it can be a pretty tough fight. Plus, it's essentially a gauntlet. We have to fight 8 waves of enemies. And these enemies, well, they're tough because their stats are boosted and your attacks don't really do much damage. So that's why we rely on symbology. Symbology ignores defense in its damage calculation. It only relies on the spellcaster's instat, so which is pretty good. We'll be doing a safety save as well here because that fight can be pretty gnarly. So our main goal is to get Miria in a safe spot, use Mind Flare, and cast Ice Needles to kill them all. So yeah, Banner Leaders are our first target of priority. I'm gonna change the camera here. And want to keep Bacchus alive as well, as much as we can. you notice I changed camera with R3? That's because I want to get a better view of what's going on. So there's the aerial view and the this view. This view is very good for this battle because you can see what's going on. I'm gonna reapply the Mind Flare. Mind Flare does run out pretty fast. And phase in this battle is essentially our item chucker. So keep it in the corner and it'll be safe from everything, usually. And all that HP from Bacchus is helping as well, because he's surviving attacks. So at wave 3, you'll notice that Abandoned Leader is in battle if you hear any stat boosts at the beginning of the fight. Alright, one more. Alright, we want to be also restoring, watching our MP. So that's why I have Riot Potions. Good. Oh. Her Mind Flare ran out, so that's unfortunate. Ooh, can I heal in time? Yes, I can. Use my Big Berries. I'm gonna apply the Riot Potion on the area. Just running low on MP. So the infinite MP is gonna help a lot. Alright, wave 4. Gotta take up the leader. Actually, this is wave 5. Want to reduce spell lag as well. Nice. Reapply Mind Flare. Wave 6 is a reader wave because there's no Phantom Leader. Good. Watch her MP as well. Watch Bacchus' HP. Reapply some Mind Flare. So far, pretty smooth. Pretty smooth fight. So I'm happy with how it's going so far. I'm going to be watching her MP as well. I'm going to use another Riot Potion. Alright, this next fight's good. This next wave's going to be brutal. I have to watch for focus a little bit. Because things can go wrong pretty fast. I usually should go for the Phantom Leader first. Alright, one last one. Alright, this next wave is going to be dangerous. It has 2 Phantom Leaders. So I'm going to focus on a little bit, for a little bit. Take one of them out with, and take the other one out with, 2 PM Bombs. Watch for Bacchus' HP as well. Ooh. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna focus on one of you guys. And use my last Riot Potion just in case. Okay. One more guy left. focus on reviving Bacchus. And finish him off with a... There we go. Good fight, good fight. Very, very good. So, reason why Raimi isn't here and FaZe isn't here, FaZe's levels and experience will transfer over to the guy that's going to replace him, Aramat. So that's why FaZe has been in all the fights so far, because we want to power up Aramat, because he's going to be the essential main damage dealer for the rest of the game, except for the next fight. And Raimi, her role as support damage will continue, for sure. So yeah, FaZe leaves the party. Our buddy, Crow. Crow is a red-haired guy, similar to Edge and Raimi. He's not playable, unfortunately. But he comes, kicks ass with Aramat, rescues us from these phantoms. So those red guys are called phantoms. Essentially, they're lifeless beings that have an ethereal form of human beings. So we fought them. They're powerful. But we beat them. That's good. So it turns out that we didn't actually clear this planet from the Grigori. We only destroyed a fragment of it. So we're going to go to the heart of the insect's nest, and we're going to defeat the Grigori that's there. So we're going to be preparing Aramat and Miracle for this upcoming fight. Okay, so chain combos, hits, hamburg steak on these two. Let's see, skill boost, some HP, finish HP boost, and learn. Whoa, did she not? Was she not revived? Oh wait, this is the next battle. Okay. All's fine. This is critical hits. I was just mistaken on my menuing. Critical hits. Common impact. And Raimi should also learn critical hit too. Okay. This is fine. Critical hits. Should be fine. Tactics. And I think this should be fine. So I'm going to be using a passive skill called Stealth. Because the quicksand pits that we're going to need to fall through has an enemy that spawns right beside us. But if we didn't have Stealth on, the enemy would go for us right away. This method is not 100% foolproof. The enemy can just walk in the same direction that you spawn, so it's about a 5% chance of that happening. We use both Miracle, Aramat, and Miria to do damage to fight this force encounter. Pretty good. This area is very, very tricky because the corridors here are pretty tight, and the enemies are very annoying to deal with. Plus, we have to use scrambling units for these encounters. What are you doing? We're right in the way. Because these encounters take a long time to escape from, more than usual. That's good. Alright, we got past the most annoying parts of the Mega Insect Horde. So that's good. I'm going to get the Hurricane Claws. Awesome. Oh, let's not do that then. I was going to get the Vile Goop, which essentially... never mind. I'm gonna use my Scramble Unit here. Yeah, it grants the symbolic symbol status effect, or symbolic weapon status effect on your allies, and it essentially is MP drain with physical attacks. Physical attacks only, you can't use it with skills. It's nice for the final battle because you're going to be using a lot of MP. I'm going to grab a few things too. This chest here contains glow stick. Get past this guy. I'm gonna do a safety save here because this fight is one of the harder fights in the game. First, some menuing. Any healing? No healing. Okay. Safety save here. So this next fight here, the only way you can expose the boss's weak point is by blindsiding. But they have a few hacks that you need to take care of first, so let's do that. That's unfortunate. Okay. Switch to Miracle. Oh. It's a little rough right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Miracle lost her attack bonus. I have to do Plan B. Ow. I have to use Plan B. Plan B is use Airmat as damage. Ow. Ooh. This is a rough fight, actually. So I'm worried. This is bad. This is actually really bad. You get a game over once all your guys are dead. Like everyone, not just the active party members. So, gotta be very careful right now. Let's use some big berries on her. Ow. Alright, so that's bad. Red herbs are bad. Ow. That's not good either. Gotta focus on survival. I'm dead. This is bad. I might have to restart. Let's see, who should I revive? You. Let's see. Let's get Sarah back up running. I might run out of revives too. Let's see. Alright, this is my plan. Get some aggro on Airmat. Should be fine with this. Okay. What? Wow, okay. That's unlucky there. Oh, I see. I'm only gonna do a few attacks. I'm gonna do one more. Damage control time. Sure. Right. You should be okay. Reason why I had to switch to Aramet here, or switch Remy here, is because I know that the last ad is alive, or dead. Poison's dead. Ah, not good. Alright, Toxic Breath is actually dangerous. Let's wait until everyone's revived first. And you don't want Miracle to get experience in this fight too. Alright, good. Alright, that was rough, but we're alive. That's the important part. Alright, that's good. So as long as we're alive, that's all that matters. Like, something was bound to go wrong in the marathon setting. Well, let it be this fight. Because I'm kind of used to the bad fights for that boss. Yeah, she's very dangerous. I'm like really low on revives too, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of shopping earlier to stock up on revives. So it shouldn't be a big deal. I know I'm going to have more than enough money so, with the marathon routes. So, everything's going to be fine. So we're done in Aeos. Now we're going to go finally to the Morpheus' home world, which is EN2. If you guys are familiar with Star Ocean 2, EN2 is very familiar. And you'll notice that the Morpheus are very familiar in anatomy, or physiologically speaking, to species that you know pretty well from Star Ocean 2, the Deans. EN stands for energy need, apparently. They never really confirmed or denied anything, but they left things open for us. So yeah, EN2 essentially is second energy need. And the Morpheus here are like the second descent, or like a branch species of the Deans. Skip a few cutscenes. And rest like lazy bum that we are. The nice thing about resting on Calnus is it restores all negative status effects and restores all our HP into full, as well as your MP. So it's like an in. So that's good. So now we are in EN2, second last planet of the speedrun of the video game. First, we're gonna grab a very specific chest here. Remember the void status that we inflicted on the Guardian Beast earlier? It can also be inflicted on us, and it'll nullify any buffs, and debuffs for the matter of fact. But we're worried about the buffs being nullified, because once the status effect is stuck on, you can't buff. Like, the void status will override that. So that's why we have void recovery units. You can restore it with Sarah's cure condition, but it's slow. So that's why we have instant cure in void recovery units. So now we learn the truth of the universe from this guy called X, which is the heart of EN2. So essentially, Grigori are lifeless beings. They're connected to this thing called the missing procedure, which also produces the phantoms. So we know where the missing procedure is. There's a life form that's conducting all of this bastard devilry, and we have to eliminate that life form. But first, EN2 got invaded by Grigori, which is different from all the other Grigori, because it doesn't have a very obvious weak spot. That weak spot is actually, well, I'll explain it when the fight happens. Yeah, another nice thing about EN2 is the battle music. So, not only is there that little similarity between EN and Energy Need, you also have the battle music, which is a throwback to Star Ocean 2. It's a remix of the Star Ocean 2 battle theme for all fights on this planet. So that's nice. So, we're gonna go to a very secret shop here called the Invitation Gallery. Grab our final weapon upgrade for Aramat. Well, we only have one. It's called the Grim Reaper, which is Darkness Elemental weapon. Because the next boss is weak to Darkness Elemental. I'm gonna buy some revives here. Fresh sages. We definitely have more than enough money. But, well, we don't have to worry because I'm gonna grab a chest here anyways. So this chest contains money, extra money, optional chest, but for Marathon, better safe than sorry. Buy some skills, converts, and Berserk. What Berserk does is it reduces your defense, but also boosts your attack power by a whole lot for about a minute. And we're gonna need that because we need all the damage that we can pump out from Aramat and Raimi, our two main damage dealers. However, Aramat's the only one that can do damage against the next boss, so we're gonna worry about Aramat for now. Alright, after I get this next chest, contains a bizarre fruit, which can generate a random attack status seed. I hope to get the potent attack seeds from it, so let's find out. Accuracy seeds, that's okay. Convert on Aramat, Berserk on these two. Let's see. Equipment, I'll equip everything. Give all the attack here on Aramat. Skill boost some HP. Enhance. Berserk. Rainy. Give her some chain combos. Level up Sonic Thorn, and level up some on Rage and Berserk. Bacchus learned Termination, which is a very, very good attack, and we're gonna need his AoE for the upcoming boss fight. Unholy Maelstrom, which is two very powerful swings of the axe. I'll turn off Fairy Healing, change the battle arrangement around. Should be good. So, next boss is Kokabio. She comes with a lot of ads, like 20 ads. But they're very mini ads. 16 of them are vulnerable, but 4 of them are invincible. The goal is to defeat all the weak ads and force Kokabio to regenerate the weak ads. She's in a orange ball when she regenerates them. That orange ball is actually her weak point. And that's when Kokabio is most vulnerable. So it's a little different than the usual weak point bosses that we've fought so far. But yeah, the very first thing that we need to do is defeat all the non-invincible ads. And then, only then can we go ahead and damage Kokabio this way. Well, you technically can, but she's just like any other Grigori. You can technically damage them, but you're not going to do much damage to them. So yeah, this area, very maze-like. If you got the Earth Ring, the Earth Disintegration Ring from Alternate Earth, you could have used it in one of the paths here. But the Earth Ring is not permanently locked out. You can retrieve the Earth Ring in EN2, in the inn. So you don't actually lose out on that Disintegration Ring. If you fail to grab the Earth Ring in alternate Earth, that is. Yeah, we'll see if I get into encounter here. If I do, then you guys are in for a treat for the music. Because the music for battles in this area is a remix of the Star Ocean 2 battle theme. Boy, these guys. Grab this chest, which contains more money. Money is always good. Speaking of money, you guys should support our charity, Sick Kids Hospital. It's the holiday season, and any donation that they can receive will always be helpful. I'm going to be donating myself after this run as well, so look forward to that. And we're coming up on the next boss fight. I think I'm confident enough to not need a safety save for this one. So let's do it. So at a core of EN2, the 4 gems, we gotta rescue them. Skip the cutscene. Very important for a speedrun. Skip cutscenes. Alright, here's Kokabio and her mini-ads. We're gonna defeat the mini-ads right now. We're also gonna buff Aramat at the same time. I think Raimi took care of all of them. Lock target on. Use Berserk. Blindside her, hopefully. Alright, let's blindside her for some added bonus damage. Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Alright. Didn't get the quick kill, which is kind of unfortunate. What I did there was prime a Termination and Sonic Thorn after. Ooh, nice. So, their attacks can immediately kill the ads. Like that. Yes, okay. She should be dead soon. There we go. She was pretty close to dying there. Yeah, sometimes our Aramat's unholy maelstrom can miss on Kokabio. It's kind of annoying, but that's how it is with her. So yeah, that was a decent enough boss fight for our marathon. Now we're going to do some major shopping because this is preparation for the very final 2 battles of the speedrun. Alright, so let's buy some Stallion Snaps. Anything that's boost rush mode will help us a lot. Unequip and strip every 1. This. And sell a few extraneous gear. This. This. 2 did not equip their stuff. That's what I'm curious about. Gonna sell this. Sell these. Sell these. Someone didn't equip their Stallion Snaps. Oh, you. That's fine. Gonna buy some spare revives as well, with the extra money I have. Let's sell a few more items too. This, oh no, don't sell that. We just bought that. Buy a few more revives just in case. And that's all our shopping for the rest of the game. So our next step for endgame preparation is doing some synthesis with item creation. And we're going to be synthesizing quite a bit of gear and upgrade our equipment in order to survive the final boss fights more easily. Because the final boss can cast a lot of thunder symbols, and we can synthesize a few of our armor, a bit of our armor, to have thunder absorption. So it will nullify the final boss's thunder attacks. So that's going to be very useful for us. And the final boss can also inflict the plethora of all the status elements that you've encountered in the run. So, Curse, Fog, which is essentially full active mode, Star Wars 4 style. Curse, except, okay, Void is different, yeah. You can still invoke Void too. Alright, so create items. We're going to synthesize a compact stun bomb on our Saints bow. Neon bomb. And our Grim Reaper, we're going to synthesize the attack seeds, which give a percentage-based attack boost, 3%. We need all the help we can get with attack boosts. That's why I'm synthesizing these weapons on Aramat's weapon. Synth limits tells you how many times you can synth a single piece of equipment. Maximum amount of times versus the amount of time you have left. I have one more slot left, which I'm going to use on this. I'm also going to boost the Saints bow with Aramat's Scythe, because I ran out of slots. The synth bow has a lot of things, that's good. Fettered rope, synth the anti-silence armlet. So Sarah's a move for both silence and pumpkin. Unfortunately, she's going to be susceptible to curse, but the curse, anti-curse is a hard one to get in a speedrun setting, anyways. A few more thunder charms, and we're done with item creation. And then it's clear sailing to the end of the game. There we go. All our item creation is finished. And now we're going to proceed to the end of the game. This is the last time you're going to have access to the Calnus. Actually, no, that's not true. You can't travel in between worlds with the Calnus anymore. So, what happened is we launched this full-scale invasion into the final planet, defeated its defense mechanism at the sacrifice of Crow, who I mentioned earlier. And our goal is to defeat that life form that's guiding the missing procedure. So, this is Nox Obscurus, the final planet of Star Wars 4. Very dreadful planet. Its inhabitants are just one single life form that's guiding the missing procedure. Its allies are the Phantoms that it spits out. So essentially, the Phantoms it's just like the Holy Grail in the Fate series. It just spawns everything at will. I'm gonna throw away a fresh sage because I want the chest here. This chest here contains more void recovery units, so that's why I got it. So our goal here is to get to the heart of Nox Obscurus. Well, we gotta traverse these water bubbles. So water bubbles can be good. Unfortunately, they're RNG based, so I don't know exactly when they're gonna spawn, but I just have to wait patiently. Well, I'll just give you a whole camera tour of the place. There we go. There is a second way to get through this area, but it involves a lot more sprinting, and it just takes too long. Like, the water bubbles here are faster overall. Even though you do have to deal with a little bit of RNG. So all of our enemy types that we've seen throughout this game, you're gonna see in phantom form. From Reapers, Chimeras, Lizard Guys, humanoids, insects from Eos, robots from Cardianon, Donkey Kongs in Alternate Earth, and Lemurus, and Mechas, Gundams essentially. Where am I going? There we are. There I am. This enemy type you haven't seen yet, but that's in the Rogue. Okay. So it turns out that Crow's ship, we found pieces of it. Crow's ship actually revealed to us the final dungeon. If that didn't happen, we wouldn't be able to get through. So final dungeon, the Palace of Creation. Currently it's in retro mode, black and white. Good. There we go. We turned the music on. One of my favorite tracks in this game, the final dungeon music. So have a listen to it sometime. If you're into video game soundtracks. Alright, this is what? I didn't even see that guy. Oh my god. I thought I dodged everything, but I guess not. Oh, my AI control is on my control character is Raimi. That's actually what I wanted to set up anyways. Oh. Actually, did not see that door there. I should have looked at the minimap. But this section's a little confusing, but like essentially these asteroids have these door-like places which take you to another part of the screen. But fortunately, there's no RNG in where the doors take you. So that's good. Right, we got Donkey Kong, Red Donkey, Lava Guys. We got another black and white area. We have to free these pendulums in order for time to resume. This one is trapped behind ice. So we use our fire ring for the last use of elemental disintegration rings in a speedrun. So that's good. Take a little break. And wait for this elevator or pendulum. So unfortunately, you can't get on the pendulums once you free them. Like, you have to wait for one cycle, which is really annoying. But as far as I know, there's no way around that. We got their second last chest of the game, very important one, attack boost. Attack boost is really, really important because we're going to be using it on Aramats, who's going to be our main damage dealer. The problem with the final two bosses is they're immune to darkness elemental attacks. But however, Aramat has access to a skill called Nether Strike, which is fire elemental and ignores the weapon elements. So we're going to be using Nether Strike as our main source of damage because, well, you can use it at any distance. So Aramat's going to do a lot of long distance damage along with Raimi. So you'll see a shift. You saw a gradual shift of close range damage versus long range damage. So we did a lot of close range damage with Edge because naturally he's a swords user. But we shied away from using close range attacks, starting from Black Eagle onwards. We still used him with Bacchus, but we didn't use him as much. And we saw a greater emphasis on distance attacks with Ice Needles and now Nether Strike. So that last one, we need to get that serpent staff in order to break the energy train. We're gonna approach our very last safety save of the speedrun as well. There's no clown here, so sometimes you can see a clown. That clown can climb up here and get aggroed, and well, get into encounter because he can reach up there. It's annoying. All right, let's do our menu here. With everything that we have, use attack boost on the right character. Whatever. All right, so. Enhance and restoration. HP boost. Finish it all on Berserk. Attack boost. Better strike. One more slot on termination. Better strike. Gonna turn off Blast Hurricane. Tactics are going to be gang up on foes in full force. Change the beats of all of our characters as well. And we should be good to go. Last safety save. And it's go time for the final two bosses. So the first one, even though he has the same music as the Grigori, he doesn't have a weak point. So our main strategy is going to be using Raimi and Airmat. Use Berserk and just wail on him. And cast some Enhance as well. Oh yeah. Void also eliminates all passive abilities. That includes any gear. So that's why Sarah got damaged by Thunder Flare instead of taking healing. Alright, so... focus on getting everyone back to health. Should be dead. Give it an next few attacks. There you go. He's dead. Pretty good fight, other than that rough start. Alright, this next section, there is no mini-map. And there are certain sections of the screen where you'll get into encounter and refight one of the old Grigori. Only if you enter those certain sections. Since I pretty much memorized all the spots, that's not going to be a problem. Unless I accidentally run into one. Well, that can happen. Alright, so with my last bit of party SP, I'm going to boost our attacks. Hunter's Moon, I guess. Hunter's Moon. Set AI back to Raimi for control. Okay. Should be okay if I take this route. It's been a while. And no minimap at all to help guide you. And this should be right. Yes. Alright, no refights needed. So it turns out that the final boss is actually our old guy, FaZe. He turns into the final boss of Persona... No, not even that. The final Persona of Persona 5. Same name, Satan. Oh my god, nice frozen. Alright, we're gonna revive Sarah. That was unfortunate. Nice pumpkin. That's what pumpkin looks like. Yeah, our guy is now a pumpkin. gonna use a resurrection mixer. So Satanile has two forms. His first form has 4 gems, plus deplete HP on all gems. Only the bottom gem takes damage, by the way. And he has to use the attack of the gem in order for the gem to be exposed. Okay. You want to avoid the purple gem because it inflicts void. Satanile can also cast void as well. That's kind of annoying. Oh. All you have to do is use the green gem. Purple gem's still there. Focus a little bit. Plasma Cyclone. Alright, green gem. Good, good, good. What? He uses gem? Even though it was dead? That was weird. But yeah, second phase. We can actually deal damage to him now. Oh yeah, time happens when last hit happens. But I'll tell you when it starts varying the time. When he uses Stun of the Cosmos, that's when his HP is less than half. Yeah, the nice thing about synthesizing the stun bomb is that you can stun Satanile, which is pretty good. Is he going to use Stun of Cosmos? Yes. Alright, it's like a half-screen AoE attack. That's good. Alright, using Extinction. That's somewhat shortly. Convert one more time for good measure. Dead, fine. Alright. It's pretty good. 226.51, not bad for a marathon run at all. Alright. Thank you all for having me as I close off the year for speedrunning for myself with one more run of Star Ocean The Last Hope. This has been the year for Star Ocean The Last Hope. It's been in multiple marathons, and it's been tested in RPG Limit Break, and it's gotten pretty good feedback. So thank you all for having me once again. Shoutouts to the Star Ocean community, the Tri-Ace speedrunning community, and shout out to my Yuka Kazami Fumo right there. Newest Fumo, Toho Project plushes. So shout out to Final Fantasy Tactics and the shirt here. And shout out to all the crew here at the Hive in Toronto. And, well,